The attributes I'm about to share are the foundation for hitting seven figures as a coach. If you don't have these attributes, you're going to really struggle. Let's get into it. So, the first attribute for me that stands out in becoming a seven-figure coach, someone who earns over $1 million a year in their coaching business, number one is there is a focus on one core message. So, for me, I have gone through many evolutions in my journey of running my coaching business. I have been a career coach, a life coach, a productivity coach, a performance coach, a speaking coach. And then it was about 5 years ago that I transitioned and I said, I'm a sell from stage coach. So I teach coaches and course creators and entrepreneurs to sell from stage, not just speak from stage, not like presentation training. It is selling from a stage, whether that be a live stage in person or a webinar or a virtual event, any sort of delivery from stage, right? So I'm a sell from stage coach. When I did that, my income almost doubled in 12 months. And what started to happen was I started to get known for a specific topic. And then I was able to be referred to other people, other course creators, other market leaders started to come to me and ask questions and inquire about my services. And it really built this like momentum in my business, which I'd never had before. And so what I'm saying here is that usually when you niche sharper in your message and you also niche sharper in your audience, you're going to get greater traction, you're going to earn more money, and you're going to see better results with your clients. Now, I had been a speaker on the speaking circuit for like 10 years at the time. So I'd done a lot of speaking. I had a good, great reputation. I was earning money as a speaker, but I was also selling from stage a lot. And that was great. I loved doing that. And then at a point, there was quite a well-established expert. She was earning close to $1 million a year. And she came to me, she said, Colin, all this content you're teaching is great, but I want to learn how you communicate your message in such a powerful way and how you're selling your programs. Like, I want to know that process. And that really gave me the courage, to be quite frank. And that was in a mastermind. I was part of a mastermind, and this woman came up to me and she really called it out of me. And that it was scary. It was really scary to narrow down and say, I only work with people in the professional development industry. So like a coach or a course creator. And I only teach selling from a stage, right? Selling from a virtual or a live stage. That's it. But when I did that, my income drastically increased. So the first attribute that I've noticed in all of my seven-figure friends is that there is a focus in one core message. The second thing is, the second attribute of a seven-figure coach is they have let go of the need to be safe. So in us as human beings, there is a very strong need to feel safe, to feel validated, to feel noticed, to feel seen, to feel loved, like to feel connected. There's all these like deep-seated needs. A big one is the need to feel safe. Now, obviously, as an entrepreneur, there is a level of risk that you bring to your life that other people don't bring, right? There is a risk that if you start a business, you have employees, you put yourself out there, you run your own thing. It's like, if you don't generate income, you don't make any money, you don't eat. Does that make sense? Now, I've been on that journey for like 15 years, but I've found that through the journey, I've had to allow myself to have new thresholds of uncertainty in my life. And that is very evident when you are trying to push to the next level. Like, I remember, I'll never forget the first time I ran $100,000 webinar, because at the time, the biggest webinar I'd run was around like $30,000. And I was like, I want to run $100,000 webinar. It was elusive. It was evading me. I couldn't get a hold of it. And I realized that I'd been playing safe. And I realized that I wasn't showing up as the person who would run a $100,000 webinar. And so I made a decision that I wasn't going to play it safe anymore. And I reached out to people. I reached out to some big influencers. Spent more money on ads. I did a whole bunch of things. And it resulted in, we ran a webinar, which was like $146,000. That was the first time I'd ever ran a webinar that was over $100,000, right? And this was like 7 or 8 years ago. And so the frame here, the attribute is that you must let go of the need to be safe all the time. And even this is in social media, producing content. Like if you're consistently worried about what other people are going to think of you, you will not make 7 figures in your coaching business. Or if you do, you're going to be freaked out all the time, because let me tell you, the comments that you get when you start running ads, you start pushing the boundaries, you start sending more emails, the comments, the feedback, the whatever it is, like it's like a resistance that happens. That for me, when I'm getting some negative comments, which I don't get too many, it's kind of, I mean, it's nice to not get too many, but when I do, it's just evidence that I am reaching more people. I'm reaching more people who don't know me yet. They don't trust me yet. They don't know who I am. And that's a good thing. So when I get negative comments on my posts, I get negative comments on even my YouTube, right? We'll see if we get a negative comment on this one. But if I get negative comments on my posts, my YouTube, my Facebook ads, that for me is just evidence that I'm reaching new people, right? And they may or may not resonate with me. They may or may not resonate with you. But to be a 7-figure earner, you have to let go of the need to be safe. And that gives you so much freedom to just create. And to be frank, I have shot a bunch of videos today, podcasts. Like I've produced so much content today, and I just freaking love it. Like I just love producing content. And so I want you to take in this idea of like, you have to let go of the need to be safe. Number 3, there is a level of intensity that I have noticed in people, in coaches and course creators who make more than 7 figures. And it's not necessarily intensity in terms of how fast they talk or anything like that. There's like an internal grunt that they have. They have this gear in them that they can just like drop down into. Every single person that I know who is building a significant coaching business, there is a level of intensity that they bring to their business that others don't. It's so fascinating when I meet someone. Recently, I was doing some coaching with someone, and she had done a big exit she was an entrepreneur. She'd done a big exit. And so she had some cash. And so she hired me actually one-on-one. I rarely do one-on-one, but I did a short interview with her to see if she could be a good fit. She was like, price isn't even a thing. She just said, I just know I need some direct help. And she was like willing to pay for it, right? So I usually bring on about 2 one-on-one clients at the most. We've got over 10,000 clients in our coaching programs and who have been through our courses and our programs. I have about 2 one-on-one clients. But she came on, and instantly I can just tell like the level of intensity that she brings to something is phenomenal. She's heading into a first launch of her first coaching. She's going to launch a group coaching program and a course at the same time, kind of like an implementation, done with you, done by yourself. And she's already making sales before it's even launched. Like she's building a wait list. She's promoting it on social media. Like she's already done tens of thousands of dollars before she's even like opened the enrollment for it, because she's doing pre-enrollment. But what's crazy is like the level of intensity she brings to this thing, the level of focus she brings to her work, the professionalism of her website is just, it's excellent. Does that make sense? And so I know for me, I went through a journey of where I realized, especially when we first moved from Australia to the USA, the American market it's like no market in the world. It's a beast. I'm not going to lie. And I was saying to my wife this morning, I was like, the American market is like one of those markets where you either get eaten alive or you get catapulted into the next level. And there was a point in the first year and a half or so when I was here that honestly, I was getting eaten alive. If I'm really honest, I was getting eaten alive. And I realized, I was like, man, I'm going to have to pull this ripcord and head home for the wrong reasons of what I didn't want to, even think about going home for. I'm like, I'm going to have to do that. And I remember I came to a resolve in me where I said, I need to become the next level version of me. I need to go to a whole nother level. And I realized I needed to go to a whole nother level of intensity, of showing up. And I did that. And that started to create a path for me. And then it just like scaled from there. But that's the third quality, is that, and I noticed that in all of my friends who were doing, 7, even 8 figures in their business, like $10 million, the intensity just goes up. I'm not going to lie. And so, because I'm naturally, like, if people meet me, they'll probably say, oh, he's pretty chill. Like, he's pretty relaxed. And I am externally, but internally there is like a low level, there is a low gear in me that I'm ready to go to push to the next level. Does that make sense? And it becomes enjoyable, to be quite frank. Like it starts to get really enjoyable as you do that, because you get the results. Like it's amazing. So that's the third quality. The fourth quality is simply that to be a 7-figure earner, you have to decide to be a 7-figure earner. Like, you have to decide to lead. So what I mean by deciding to lead is, I remember there was a point in my life where I was looking around I was involved in a mastermind program. I was looking around, and there were a few people in that room who were doing really well in their business. They were doing 7 figures in their business. And I was looking around, and I looked at them, and I thought, in terms of like what I do and how good I am at what I do, I'm easily as good as them. If not, quietly, to some of them, I think I'm better skill-wise than some of the people, what they're doing. But they're earning more money than me. And I realized that I was playing small. I realized that I wasn't leading the market. I hadn't decided to be a market leader. And I remember the moment when I said, I'm going to be a market leader. I remember deciding, and it was very scary, and I said, I'm going to do whatever it takes to become a market leader. And I decided that in my niche of speaking to sell, I wanted to be the leading voice, the leading person in this space, if that makes sense. And so I decided that. I was like, I'm going to show up as that. That's what I'm going to do. And I started writing that physically out in my diary, in my journal, like every day. I'm a market leader. I started writing, I even wrote, I'm a leader of market leaders. And do you know what? This is what's crazy, what happened. Within about 2 months, I had the opportunity to work with Amy Porterfield. If you know Amy Porterfield, she's the queen. Like, she's the queen of digital courses. Probably runs the biggest, easily one of the biggest online course businesses in the entire world. An incredibly integrate, powerful, sophisticated business owner. And she texts me and goes, hey, Colin, could we work together on my presentation? I'm going to do a big offer from stage. Could we work together? And I'm like looking at my phone going, I'm about to work with pretty much the biggest name in the world. And she wants to work with me. And I've had the chance to work with her 3 times now since that first initial engagement. We've seen amazing results together. But what happened was, it all happened because I decided to be a leader. And if I hadn't decided to be a leader at that point, I don't think I would have had that opportunity. And that's led on to other opportunities. I just had the chance to work with Jenna Kutcher. If you know Jenna, millions of followers, tens of thousands of people signed up to her presentations. And I get the chance, she texts me quite often. I get the chance to work with her on her big presentations and her big launches when she's pitching from webinar. And so the reason why I share this is It all started when I decided that I was going to choose to be a leader. And I had to realize that I couldn't play it safe. I had to narrow my message. I had to increase my intensity. I had to decide to lead. These are the attributes of a seven-figure earner. And my question for you is, are you ready for that? Is that something you want to head towards? And if it is, then you don't need permission from me. You need permission from you. You need permission from you to step up and into that next level. So if you found this helpful, first of all, could you let me know down below? Leave a comment and leave a nice comment, not a douchebag comment. leave a comment down below of what stood out for you. What's the attribute? I'd love to know what's the attribute that you're going to focus on in becoming a seven-figure earner, seven-figure coach. Put it down below. What's the one that stood out for you out of the ones that we went through, from focus on one message, let go of the need to be safe, increase your intensity, decide to lead. Out of those 4 ideas, what was the one that stood out for you? So leave a comment before you leave. Make sure to like, subscribe, and if you've enjoyed this, go and check out my other training video, which is all about the 3 things any coach can do to earn $100,000 in one presentation. I break down some really key things you can do if you want to build a $100,000 presentation. We'll put a link to that up here, and definitely go and check that out. But before you go, leave a comment, and look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye for now.